Hello and welcome to Nana's Crafty Home. My name is Tanya. Today's tutorial is going to show you how to crochet this cute little spider applique that I am using for my black cat towel topper. And you can use this applique for so many different little projects. For the free written pattern instructions for my spider, you can head on over to my blog via the link below in the description. I also will have the complete free written pattern instructions for my towel topper as well. So, with my yarn, I'm going to go ahead and make a magic circle and chain 1. You don't have to work a magic circle. You could go ahead and chain 4, slip stitch in that first chain, and then you are going to work 6 single crochets in the center of that, or also in the center of this magic circle. So 6 single crochets for round 1. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I am going to be using my stitch marker and placing that in the first stitch of every round as we move up. So I'm going to tighten my magic circle, and for round 2 I'm going to be working 2 single crochets in each stitch. So in that first stitch here, 2 single crochets, and I'm going to mark that first stitch so that I can keep track of it, and then 2 single crochets in all the remaining stitches. So I will have a total of 12 stitches once I've completed round 2. Okay, so round 3, I'm just working my standard increases for single crochet. So I'm going to be working 2 single crochets in that next stitch. Again, moving up your stitch marker to the first stitch of that round. 1 single crochet in the next, and then 2 in the next, 1 in the next, and repeating that sequence all the way around. 2, and then 1. So at the end of round 3, you're going to have a total of 18 stitches, and now we're ready to move on and work the final round, which will be crocheting our legs. So I'm going to slip stitch into that next stitch. You're not going to need your stitch marker any longer, so we're going to get rid of that. Slip stitch into that next stitch. Chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, slip stitch into the next chain, and then 2 single crochets into that next chain. Slip stitch into the next 2, and then slip stitch into the next stitch on the main body of the spider. So going to slip stitch into that next stitch, and I've made that first leg. You can see by working those 2 single crochets, it created that bend in that leg. Now I'm going to repeat that 3 more times. So I'm going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slip stitch into that second chain from the hook. Slip stitch into the next chain. 2 single crochets in the next chain. Slip stitch into that next chain, slip stitch into the last chain, and then again on the main body of the spider, slip stitch into that next stitch. Chain 6. Slip stitch onto the next stitch there. And I've made 4 legs for my spider. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the next 3 stitches. And I'm going to repeat those same steps to make the next 4 legs. So I'm going to be repeating chaining 6, slip stitch into the second chain, slip stitch into the next, 2 single crochets in the next, slip stitch into the next, and slip stitch in the last. Slip stitch onto the main body and repeat 3 more times. Okay, so I have completed the last 4 legs, so I have a total of 8 legs here. I'm going to fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. So I want all of my legs to be going in the same direction. This is where his eyes would be. So this is the front of the spider, this is the back of the spider. And I really want all of those legs to kind of go in the same direction as those first legs. So we would need to twist these just slightly in order to have these going in the same direction. And so I'm going to be using that tail and then kind of just really fastening them in place once I have them going in the direction that I want. So I'm going to take my needle, twist this leg so that it's going in the direction that I want it to be going, and I'm just going to place a stitch to just fasten it in place where I want it. May not stay that first stitch, so I'm going to place another one. And you can see now that that leg is going in the direction that I want it to be going, and it will stay that way. So I'm just going to come down here with my yarn, my needle, and I'm going to do that to the next leg. I'm going to twist it to where it's in the place that I want it. Pick up a loop on the main body of the spider and then come up into the leg and grab a loop there. And then repeat it a second time. To just put that in place. So now both of those legs are going in the right direction. So then I'm just going to leave the yarn, that long length of yarn, because I'm going to use that to sew to whatever I'm using it for. So you have your cute little spider. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. Thanks so much for being here. As always, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a new video. Thanks everyone. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.